Good morning. How's everybody doing? Today is Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. I've been up for a little while, but my voice is just getting started here. This is how I sound when I haven't talked for a long time, especially overnight. Anyway, how was your week? I had a great week. God is just amazing to me. I mean, honestly, it amazes me that sometimes it takes me so long to get it, to realize what a good Father God is and just how much He wants me to trust Him. He's just waiting for me to trust Him so He can show me who He's been the whole time. Again, I don't divulge details when I talk about certain things, but God has once again shown me that He's my Abba Father, my daddy. He blessed me in a way that I wasn't expecting to be blessed. I wasn't anticipating it. Let me take it a step further. I told myself I wouldn't be blessed in this area because of something that I need to deal with right now. I just told myself I wouldn't be blessed in this area. And I just resolved that within myself because expecting it and wanting it became frustrating and a source of a trigger, like toward anger and frustration. So, to just guard my heart, I decided I wouldn't be expecting anything in this particular area. How about I came home from work yesterday and the very thing that I said I wouldn't get, I told myself I wouldn't get it. I got it. I got it. God did that. God did that. He's amazing to me. I don't know what to say about God other than God is just so many amazing things and just so good, I was sitting here this morning and talking to God and I said, Lord, I need some content for my channel. Like I come on here and I start talking and I really don't have an outline of what I'm going to say. And, I said to him, what do you want me to talk about in my videos, specifically today's video? And I sat there and didn't get anything, So I'm just remaining faithful to the promise I made to make a video once a week. That's my commitment. If I do more, then that's just extra. But my videos always post on Saturday. They're supposed to post on Saturday. And like I said, when I asked him what I would talk about, I didn't get anything. So maybe that's his way of telling me, continue what you've been doing. Because each time I come on and I ask him to give me the content beforehand, he hasn't necessarily given me anything in great advance. It's usually where I come on and God will just drop something in my mind or in my spirit. And I'll just start talking about it. And that's, his way, I'm guessing his way of stretching me in this area. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Since he didn't answer me, then I'll just continue doing what I've done, which is coming on and making videos. God is really working some things out in my heart. I will share this detail, specific information. I've been watching this podcast on YouTube, and it's called Dear Future Wifey. And this man comes on, and he's the host of the podcast, so I forgot his name. But if you look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. Dear Future Wifey. And he does these episodes and he has guests who come on. And there's always a topic, some person or couple or people sharing details of their life, their story, their experiences, their triumphs, their lessons. And I was watching this one podcast done by this man and his wife. I need to get the details of it. So I'll put something down in my description after I post this so you'll know exactly what video. Actually, hold that thought. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to mention it now. Pause 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So it's Purpose Partners, Season 2, Episode 202. And it says Purpose Partners, Cariga and Felicia Bailey. And I know I've seen them before, but I did not actually see the video that they did, which was referenced with them dealing with grief. And again, it's Dear Future Wifey, and it's S for season, S2, comma, E for episode, E202. Purpose Partners, Cariga, that's Karega, the ampersand for and, Felicia Bailey. I was watching that and listening to that man talk about his journey and determination to trust God after a loss. And to hear the spiritual maturity in him to be able to balance the delicate balance that's necessary for grief, going through the grief process, and not giving the enemy room to operate in your life or to, change your mind about God and make you turn against the only one who can really help you. Just listening to him talk, I said, Lord Jesus. And then balancing on top of that, his need for self-care with the need to serve his wife and take care of her, because he prioritizes that and doesn't want he didn't want his self-care to be interpreted as an abandonment or neglect of his responsibility to care for his wife. When I heard that man talk, when I listened to his wife speak, she didn't say a whole lot in the video, but just listening to the way that they speak to and about each other, there's such a love, there's such a compassion, there's such a tenderness. And, some people are into black this and black that. I'm not that person who's, really focusing on that. But this is a black couple. It's just a beautiful thing to behold. Two people just loving each other like that. It's just wonderful. And you know what? For those of you who don't know, this may be your first video watching of me anyway. For those of you who don't know, I am divorced and I do desire to be married again. This time I will marry the one God approves of and not the one that I choose. I have free will, of course, but I will make sure that I pray and seek God's wisdom this time. And I'm telling you, that video just gave me a different desire, a different level of, a different standard. Basically, watching that video has literally raised the bar for me of what I'll be looking for in my king. Honestly, just their love is just so beautiful. So I hope you go and you watch that video. and look at some of the other videos in that Dear Future Wifey podcast. Um, to some people, that might be extra, that might be a little bit much, because he's literally doing these videos. And at the end of the podcast, the gentleman who hosts the podcast, he makes a statement to his future wifey. And to some people, that, like I said, that's just too much. That's his faith in action. He is literally making declarations and speaking to and calling those things that be not as though they were. Moment of transparency. I started a journal with the same theme in mind, just writing in that journal to my future husband. And when I started it, I had the mindset that it was really for him, and it's something that I would give him after we get married, right? How about this journal is as much, if not more, so for me, because of the process of processing and revisiting things that I've had to go through, and touching on topics that ultimately I will share with him, and ultimately we will discuss, and he will love me regardless of them. But they're uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes the real of who you are, that nakedness that you have to show to be transparent, it can be so uncomfortable when it's your first time talking about it. Ultimately, the bottom line is this: who God has for me, that's who is for me. And this man is going to love everything about me. My toes. He's going to love my tummy, which has stretch marks from my 2 children and my scar from my 2 cesarean sections. Again, I'm being transparent here. He's going to love everything about me. Even when he learns things about me that either I feel guilt or shame about currently, that I'm working through, that prayerfully at the time when we come together, that will no longer be the case. He's going to love everything about me. My story, He's going to accept me. That's what I saw in that video between them, Corriga and his wife, Felicia. They were just, it's been a long time since I've experienced or witnessed the level of genuine tenderness and passion. He talks about radical gentleness. I think it's radical gentleness he talked about in that video. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But just coming against the expectation that society has placed on men. Not just society, but some of the generational guidelines and teachings and mindsets that have been passed down from forefathers, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, as to how men are to govern and conduct themselves, and how they are to navigate through life, navigate through emotions, not giving them permission to express their emotions. He has this balance of strength and gentleness and honesty and tenderness and relatability that is just so beautiful to behold and witness, and it's evident in the way he communicated with the host of the podcast. It's evident in the way he communicated with his wife. It's evident in the way he talked about God and his relationship with God and his desire to really be a mature Christian. And he's just genuine. There's nothing fake or phony about any of them. It's just a breath of fresh air, just so refreshing. So, like I said, it completely raised the bar for me. And I know that you attract based on where you are and your mindset toward yourself. So, I've been asking the Lord to heal me in some areas where I need healing, the ones I'm aware of and the ones that have yet to be brought to my attention. I want God to show me where I need healing, show me where I need balance, where I need to grow up. That's the big thing, growing up. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. What better way to practice the lifestyle of growing up than on your friends and family members and co-workers and people that you randomly deal with on the street and drivers that you have to deal with on the road. Those are your greatest opportunities to see where you really are. It's easy to express compassion and even love toward someone who's being kind to you, someone who you're in a romantic relationship with, that person who you're building a life with. Sometimes I think in the back of my mind, I've separated romantic love and how to deal in that relationship from just cultivating people skills and knowing how to deal with every kind of personality. Those are tool sharpeners. Those experiences that we have with people that are not so desirable or so pleasant. We need to master ruling our own spirits so that we don't allow people or intended triggers to pull us out of character. When you can do that, when you master that, when you realize that you need to work on that and then you start working on it and allow the Lord to really work on you, then you're really doing something. Then you're really growing up. That's when you're ready for marriage. And I truly believe that because everything won't be peaches and roses. Everything won't be a walk in the park. There will be some tough moments. And in those tough moments, you may see a side of yourself that you didn't know was there or that you thought was dead. You want the person that you're married to be gracious and be kind and forgive you and give you the mercy that you need to adjust and correct your behavior if necessary, apologize if necessary, grow and stretch, mature, and work things out. You want that grace to be given, extended to you, right? Well, you reap what you sow. How about learning how to sow that kind of grace and compassion and mercy and forgiveness and tenderness and understanding that you would want to receive? Sometimes we can get comfortable in our connections and not just romantic relationships. We can get comfortable in our friendships, taking people for granted, assuming that they will always fill in the blank, always be there, always help, always give advice, always say what we need to hear, always avail themselves, always give us what we're asking for, always support us. A true friend, a friend is true to the end. That's very true. But what if they're not available? What if they're going through something at a time when you need them or you want them to be there? What if they're having to exercise a level of self-care at a moment where you really need them and want them to be there for you, and you're so accustomed to them just being there that you assume they'll be there that time, but they're not available? Then what? Just like I said, it just raised the bar for me to see that couple, how they interacted with one another. So I'm in this book, going back to this journal that I have begun in the spirit of that Dear Future Wifey podcast. I started making a list a list of qualifications and traits that I want my husband to have. And in the past, I've written those traits and qualifications down like in one setting. I would just sit there and just brainstorm and just write it out. This time, I'm intentional about it. And I know I could do that again. I don't want to do that again. You know why? Because I don't want to list anything that's strictly superficial. There are some superficial things that I desire. I mean, I'd be a liar if I told you that I would just take a good man coming my way, who looks halfway decent. Listen, I have a standard, and I'm not going to lie to you or myself or God, because God knows exactly what I want. There are so many people who make it seem like, you need to get past your taste, and maybe I'm just blind where that's concerned. Maybe that's an area where God needs to deal with me, and I really need to get past what I call my taste, because maybe the man God has for me isn't what I would call my taste. But, if that's the case, then I'm willing for the Lord to speak to me and enlighten me and change me. But, every time I think about that mindset of just telling myself, okay, my taste has always been XYZ. My taste is now XYZ. I need to do away with taste and just ask the Lord to bless me with a man that I find pleasing to my eyes. Whenever I try to kind of go in that direction, the balance that comes to me is a memory of recently within the last couple of years, working at the polls. This was in 2019, because I didn't do any polls at all last year. So it's 2019. I remember working at the polls, the voting polls, and this was pre-COVID, obviously. This man came in to vote. He was athletic. He was tall. He was chocolate. He was muscular. He was fine, not fine. He was fine. Y'all, I have not seen a man down here who looked that good to me in a long. Let me back that up. I've never seen a man down here who looked that good to me, ever. And in New York, good-looking men come a dime a dozen. I don't have that same experience down here in Greensboro, and that's not shade. That's just facts. That's according to my taste. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And what I've been beholding in North Carolina just has not been what I would call my cup of tea. But like I said, this memory comes back to me of this man who walked into the voting polls that day. I'm usually the kind of person who I know how to put on that deadpan expression if I need to. And I usually do that when I find a man to be attractive. I was struggling that day. I won't lie, I was struggling. Because I was like, who is that man? He was so fine. I was like, oh God. And the task I had at that moment was to take people from the line waiting to vote to the actual individual voting booths and walk them through the process of, selecting their ballots, filling in their ballot. And then once the ballot was completed, completing the process at the very end of the line there. It's a technical thing. But I had to basically deal with them in two different stages. There were usually one person assigned to each phase, but the person who had done the second phase was on a break or doing something different. I think getting some food or something. So I did both. And I had to walk him from phase 1 to phase 2. And he had to walk behind me. And again, that thing you go through in your mind, like, oh God, he's looking at me. He's behind me. I went through that whole thing. And I was like, this could be a married man. He could have a woman in his life. He could be engaged. I didn't get this impression, but the thought, you don't know in this day and age. He could be a bisexual, he could be gay, he could be celibate and just a eunuch, determined not to be with women. I went through this whole thing in my brain. In that brief time that it took me to walk him from phase 1 to phase 2, the thought process is amazing and quick. But I had to resolve within myself that day that God was reminding me that day that he knows how to bring a tall glass of cold water. He knows how. And he knows what I like. I really literally took that experience as God reminding me, I haven't forgotten about you. I know what you like. I know what you like. So, like I said, that's the memory that comes to me whenever my mind tries to wrap itself around the idea of just, settling for something that's not really the package. And I don't say that like a person who has had a lot of opportunities come my way. I haven't had any man approach me seriously since I've been down here. I had this one guy. Why am I talking about this? I'm just shooting the breeze with y'all, just having a conversation. So this is me having some coffee and some tea with you. I had this one experience shortly after I moved down here with this guy, and I knew he was either dating somebody or was married. And I knew it after we met up for this date. He was late, and he was so late that I would have normally canceled. But my mindset at that moment was like, you know what? I'm going to at least get a free meal out of this foolishness. Met him at IHOP, and we sat there. And when a person has just eaten and they burp, there's a way that a person burps when they're full. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's like you can almost hear within them that they don't have any more room. But he made himself eat because he promised to take me out. I knew he had something going on. And it was funny to me. And after that day, I blocked his number and deleted all that stuff. But that was my date down here. And I'm not saying that guys haven't looked at me down here, but it's just a different culture. The way that men down here, native Southerners, approach women is just different than what I'm used to. I'm a New Yorker, born and bred. I'm a native New Yorker. I'm accustomed to, when a man likes you, when he's feeling you, he will walk up to you, he will step to you, he'll say something to you. I don't want to be disrespected and called out of my name. Hey, yo, don't talk to me like that. But I'm accustomed to a man knowing how to assert himself. So being down here in North Carolina has been an experience. And I've had to remember that it's not for me to change who I am or how I am. I am who I am. And it is just, that's just how I am. I have a certain way that I present myself. And if I need tweaking on that, Holy Spirit lives and dwells on the inside of me. He will show that to me. But I'm not about to change the essence of who I am. In other words, I'm not going to dumb myself down and become something that I'm not because I'm trying to draw or attract. The man God has for me will be drawn and attracted to me, who I am. Y'all hold 1 second, because I want to do something right here. Just hold 1 minute. Yeah, okay, I'm back. I want to put my scarf on my head, but just full disclosure, being able to be transparent in your relationship with your spouse is so important. And the bar has been raised. The bar has risen, dude. So I'm going to end my video, and I hope that you enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. I pray that you remain authentic. Be who you are. I used to think I had to be this tough, cookie with this tough exterior. And I mentioned this in the previous video too, one of my previous videos. Felt like I had to be a tough cookie because I had experienced levels of hurt and pain and, rejection that just felt so horrible. If y'all hear that, I'm sorry, that's my stomach. I need to put something in there. But I had experienced levels of hurt and rejection that I didn't want to feel anymore. And I didn't want to be teased or, mistreated. So I became this tough cookie with this tough appearance on my face. And I tell you something, it's so exhausting to be inauthentic. Just be who you are. There's a gentle side to me. There's a side of me that I'll call a New Yorker. That'll always be there. It will, because that's where I'm from. And I was born and bred there for a reason. There's a different mindset that New Yorkers have. And I'm not saying that other people don't have it. I'm just saying, when you're a New Yorker, let me not go there. Let me leave that. Let me put a pin in. Just leave that right there. Just leave it there. But I had to learn I didn't have to put on that facade. I was being phony because deep down inside, I'm a gentle soul. Deep down inside, I'm a kind person. I'm a person who cares about people. I'm a person who doesn't like to hurt people. I'm a person who doesn't enjoy to see people hurting. Even if they've done something to me, even if they hurt me deeply and hurt me to the point of being angry, I don't like to see people hurt. I don't like it. God made me that way. Why would I try to dim that and dumb that down? God needs that personality trait that I have in this earth realm because he works through who we are in the earth realm as his children. He works through us. I don't know who he wants me to reach with that facet of my personality. But if I'm dumbing that down, how can I truly reach the ones I'm supposed to reach with it? I'm not going to dumb myself down. And you shouldn't either. And if you have, it's okay. Repent, turn around from it, do a 180 and go the other direction. All right, so that's my video for today. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. And thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but if this is your first time watching me, welcome to my channel. And if you've watched before, please do come again. Thank you for coming today. That made me think of something. This is just random. I can be random sometimes. There's a woman who comes on, well, she did used to come on the Food Network. I haven't watched that in so long. I'm not sure if her show still comes on, but her name is Ann Burrell. She's hilarious to me because when she's cooking in the kitchen, she keeps a bowl on the side when she's like doing her mise en place, which is basically dicing and preparing the ingredients for whatever she's going to cook. She keeps a bowl there for her scraps, the things that go in the trash. She calls that her thank you for coming bowl. So when I hear those words, I think about Ann Burrell. Again, that was a random fact, but let me go on and end this video because now I'm rambling and my stomach is growling. So put some food in there. Oh, one more thing, y'all. This last week, for the first time ever, guess what I made? I made some homemade bula cakes. And I tweaked the recipe because I could tell, even the first time that I make things, I try to do the recipe the way that it's stated. But if I can see the first go around that it needs some help, I will give it the help. And then I'll tweak it after that. Y'all, I ate bula cake every day. Child, I got on that scale. I said, Jesus, I gotta stop this bula cake. I ate the last piece of it yesterday. Bula cakes are delicious. And for those of you who don't know, it's Bulla. I'm not sure if there's an H at the end. I think it's Bulla, Bula cake. It's like a gingerbread cake slash biscuit, and it's a little on the dry side, but that's how they're made. That's the way that they're supposed to be made. Yummy. I do have to make those again, but I'm gonna have to do something about exercising more or something, or cutting calories in some other kind of way, because I got on that scale, like I said, and I said, oh Jesus, the book of cakes on the scale with me, Jesus. All right, I hope y'all have a great day, have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.